Hello and welcome to Home Capital's series on home ownership. Buying your first house can be a daunting task, and in this series, we simplify the entire process for you. Once you've satisfied yourself with respect to the existence of all these six documents, that is when you take the next step towards a home deal closure. Once you have reviewed the first six set of documents and satisfied yourself with respect to these six documents, let's look at the next set of documents that you must review when you are closing a home deal. The next document you must look at is what is known as a encumbrance certificate. An encumbrance certificate details all the transactions on a property for the past 10 to 30 years. This certificate is important because it ensures that the property is free from any dues or loans. It is an extremely important document when you want to procure a loan against the property that you are purchasing. The encumbrance certificate confirms that the property has a clear marketable title and will come to you without any financial obligations. The certificate is also important to prove that the property does not have any pending legal dues or mortgages against the property. And this is a key document the banks will look at before they grant a loan to you against this property purchase. This certificate has all the details related to the transactions that have happened over a period of time. In India, generally, a Form 15 is issued if a property has any encumbrance registered against it. Otherwise, a Form 16 is given stating that there are no encumbrances against a particular property. Once you've seen the encumbrance certificate, the next document you must look at is the Khata Pata or the title deed or the mother deed or the conveyance deed. The Khata or Pata is basically a document that certifies that the property belongs to the person and that person is responsible for paying the taxes on the property. It is known by different names in different localities, but it is the document which proves your ownership of that particular property. When you go and request for a Khata Pata from the local municipality, it will show the person who owns the property and it will also show the person who is responsible for or who has been paying the property taxes against that particular property. The document basically establishes the ownership of that property in the name of the person whose name is mentioned in that particular document and entitles him to take any actions or do what he wants with that particular property. When you look at a typical title deed, it will contain all details of the property such as the name of the property, the exact size, the use for which the property can be put, the valuation of the property and the taxes that have been paid on that particular property. Once you've established the legal ownership of the property with the developer and you've satisfied yourself with respect to the fact that there are no encumbrances against the property, you will enter into a sale agreement with the builder or developer. A sale agreement basically is a contract for a sale of immovable property that states that the sale of such a property shall take place on the terms and conditions settled between the parties. You should understand that a sale agreement is not a sale deed, which we will talk about later. It is basically an agreement to sell a property on terms and conditions that have been mentioned within the sale agreement. As per the sale agreement, the developer holds himself responsible for constructing the property as per the plans that have been shared with you, as per the plans that have been approved by the municipal authorities, and you as a home purchaser agree to pay all the dues as are being agreed between you and the builder at the time of making a purchase of a property which is still under construction. This is an important document because you will have to procure this and hand it over to your bank at the time of making an application for a home loan. The sale agreement contains all kind of information about the property, the terms and conditions on which the sale is happening, the area of the property being sold, the rate at which it is being sold, the payment plan in terms of when how much payment will have to be made by you as a buyer of the property, and the expected possession date of the property, the specifics of the amenities that you will get along with the property, that is not just the common amenities of the building, but also how will the property be delivered with to you in terms of the flooring to be done, the utilities to be provided, the furnishing of the house, whether it's going to be fully furnished, partly furnished, or completely furnished, and other terms and conditions associated with the home purchase. While this document is not a sale deed, it does not establish your ownership, it is a sale agreement, that is, an agreement to sell the property to you in the future when the property comes into existence. After you enter into a sale agreement with your developer, the next document that you will receive from them is what is known as the allotment letter. The allotment letter is a document issued by the developer or by the housing board or the regional development authority in case you are purchasing the property from a government body, which is a proof that a certain property has been allocated to you as the buyer upon payment of the initial funds for booking of the property. So once you pay the booking amount, you enter into a sale agreement with the developer, and then he issues you a allotment letter. The allotment letter will contain details like the amount that has been paid for booking the property, the amount that is due with respect to how much has to be paid when as per the slab rates or as per the construction schedule of the property, and the details of the property and other specifications based on which either a bank or a housing finance company can release a loan to you as a home buyer. The allotment letter is a confirmation to the lending institution, be it a bank or a housing finance company, that a certain property has been allotted to you as a home buyer, and also contains details of the property based on which the bank or the housing finance company can disburse the home loan to you. When you actually go and get a home loan sanctioned by a bank or a housing finance company for properties which are under construction, what you land up entering into is known as a tripartite agreement between the home buyer, the developer, and the bank. A tripartite agreement is important because the owner of the flat or the apartment that you are buying actually lies with the builder because it is still under construction, and it is only when the possession is handed over to you as a buyer does the ownership shift. So since the ownership lies with the builder, the banks ensure that they are made a party to the agreement, because the tripartite agreement bars the developers from entering into agreements over the said property with any other party apart from the bank with whom they have already entered into an agreement, so that multiple loans are not sanctioned against a single property. At the same time, the developer also is made responsible for the fact that if the deal does not go through or if the construction is not completed as per the agreement, the developer will return all the money back to the bank. While all of these are responsibilities of the developer, the buyer of the property is also made liable to pay the EMIs as per the mortgage agreement, even if the builder delays or fails to deliver the flat on time, or in case a dispute arises between the buyer and the builder. So you can see that by entering into a tripartite agreement, the banks are protecting their interests against both the developer as well as the home buyers. Now there are cases where a delivery of property can be delayed for reasons out of the control of the developer, and in such cases the home buyer is liable to continue to service the loan and pay the interest on such loan to the banks. And in case the deal between the home buyer and the developer does not go through or gets cancelled, the developer is made responsible for the fact that he will return all the money back to the bank if any amount has been sanctioned by the bank for that particular property. While in reality, you will end up paying the down payment towards the property out of your pocket, and the rest of the payment is made by the bank or the housing finance institution as per the slab rates, as in when the construction is completed by the banker. Finally, on completion of the property, the builder will give you a no due certificate once you have made all the payments on all the charges that are required to be paid by you as a buyer and as mentioned in the sales agreement. It must be noted that the builder will not grant you a possession of your flat unless and until you clear all the dues as per the sales agreement. And this would include all dues towards not just the purchase of the house but also dues towards maintenance, water connection, etc. etc. So once all of these dues are cleared and they would be clearly mentioned in your sales agreement, that is when you go ahead and can ask for the builder to give you a no dues certificate. In the next episode, we will talk about understanding the various aspects of a home loan. The Home Capital community assists and guides you successfully through your journey of home ownership. Join India's first community of home buyers and homeowners and take your next step towards home ownership.